This weekend I obtained $50 face value of 90% Washington quarters. What better way to celebrate than to post a picture of the coins and read to you a letter written by George Washington to his young nephew Samuel, who wished to borrow money from his uncle. In this letter, Washington makes his position on borrowing money very clear. Enjoy the reading of the letter. Dear Sir, I perceive by your letter of the 7th that you are under the same mistake that many others are in supposing that I have money always at command. The case is so much the reverse of it, that I found it expedient before I retired from public life to sell all my lands, near 5,000 acres in Pennsylvania, in the countries of Washington and Fayette, and my lands in the Great Dismal Swamp in Virginia, in order to enable me to defray the expenses of my station and to raise money for other purposes. That these lands might not go at too low a rate, for they sold much below their value, I was induced, after receiving prompt payment for part, to allow credit for the remainder of the purchase money, in obtaining payment of which from 2 of the purchasers I find much difficulty, but a third, having within these few days paid me in an installment of $3,000, I will rather than you should be compelled to sell your land, lend you a third of them, although it will be inconvenient for me to do so, and may be the means of retarding my purchase of wheat for my mill, which for want of it has been very unproductive to me for several years. I might indeed say an experience for me. It is because you have assured me that misfortunes have brought you to your present difficulties, though, by the by, let me observe, if you had inspected as you ought the staking of your wheat more closely, the spoiling thereof might have been avoided. And, because I have heard that you are industrious and sober, that I put myself to the inconvenience of parting with the above sum, for I would not lend it for the purpose to enable you to indulge in anything that is not strictly economical and proper, and I shall add further, that it will be my expectation that the money be immediately applied to the uses for which you have required it, for you may be assured that there is no practice more dangerous than that of borrowing money. Instance as proof the case of your father and uncles, for when money can be had in this way, repayment is seldom thought of in time, the interest becomes a moth, exertions to raise it by dint of industry ceases, it comes easy and is spent freely, and many things indulged in that would never be thought of, if it were to be purchased by the sweat of the brow. In the meantime, the debt is accumulating like a snowball in rolling. I mention these things to you because your inexperience may not have presented them to your mind, but you may rely on it, that they are indubitable facts, and have proved the ruin of thousands. Before suspected, great speculations and sometimes trade may be benefited of obtaining money on interest, but no landed estate will bear it. I do not make these observations on account of the money I have proposed to lend to you, because all that I shall require is, that you will return the net sum when it is in your power, without interest. It may, at any rate, as it was.